And welcome to the program. This is the Limelight and my name is Sima Polo. This week, the government of Uganda and a French oil company, Total Energies, plus its other partners, reached a final investment decision worth over $10 billion to produce Uganda's oil discoveries and build a pipeline that will turn Uganda into a significant crude oil producer. This decision is a key step in Uganda's oil prospects, and production is expected to start in 2025. At its peak, the production output of Uganda is expected to be more than 200,000 barrels of oil per day, and this is estimated to bring in at least $2 billion every year in taxes and royalties. But we can also ask, what else do we know about this multi-billion-dollar project? And to answer that question, we will link up with Honorable Eri Karuhanga. Honorable Eri Karuhanga is a director, Private Sector Foundation in Uganda, and he is also the chairman, Uganda Chamber of Miners and Petroleum, an organization that promotes development of Uganda's mining and petroleum operations. He is also a former legislator in Parliament and a founding partner, Kampala Associated Advocates. I will ask you good evening and welcome, Honorable Eri. Straight away, tell us exactly that event that we saw on Tuesday. Of what significance is that event?
Good evening, Apollo. Thank you. Just a bit of correction. I'm the chairman of Private Sector Foundation and a trustee of the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. I stepped down recently as chairman of Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. But yes, you are right. I'm the founder partner of Kampala Associated Advocates. On Tuesday, 1st of February, in the year of our Lord, 2022, God made it possible for Uganda to witness a very big milestone in exploiting God's resources, which He put underground in our land for the last 2,000 years. And it was in 2022, in the year of our Lord, on the 1st of February, when God said, let Uganda be an oil-producing country. So we received what is called FID. The full meaning of it is Final Investment Decision. These sound like just words, but what it actually means is that finally, that's why the word final, finally, all the meetings we have had between government and private sector companies, finally, we are going to invest, we have agreed to invest in Uganda. That's why they say final investment. And then when they say decision, it means that the decision has been taken by the government to allow private sector companies to come and put a ring in the finger of government into a marriage for the next 25, 30 years. And they will not break that marriage. And they have committed that that marriage is a permanent union. And they have handed over the house to the new private sector companies who have decided. So, final investment decision. It also means that the private companies and their joint venture partners and their financiers, the bankers, and the other stakeholders, like the people in Bunyoro and Gulu and the people in Tanzania have all agreed to welcome the private sector to do this business. So that's what decision is about. So final investment decision. Finally, an investment to invest billions of monies into Uganda has been decided and signed. Now, this takes a lot of soul searching, and it has taken 2002, 2010, 2020, 2022, that a point in time has reached where, as they say, the last straw which breaks the camel's back has been added on the back of the camel, and the camel has broken. And so finally, we have a final investment decision. This is the only decision to invest such amount of money that has been taken in the whole world in Uganda at a time when oil is now not seen as a good thing because it is assumed to be a pollutant, something which pollutes the atmosphere. So there was a meeting recently in Glasgow, in Scotland, in the United Kingdom, where all the countries met and they said no more investment in fossil fuels, in oil and gas. But surprise, surprise, the oil companies, Total and Sinopec, and the world bankers, many bankers even refused to give us money, but others did. This is the only country which is receiving this big investment. This is the new province of oil. This makes your country, Uganda, an oil-producing country in 4 years' time. By the end of 2025, God the Merciful will see oil puke out of a pipe in a place called Tanga, a port in Tanzania, by the Indian Ocean. And when that oil pukes out of the pipe, the longest pipeline in the whole world, 1,450 kilometers, heated, because our oil is thick like shoe polish. It will be heated, it will be the longest heated pipeline in the world. So when that oil comes out, it will be put on huge ships in the Indian Ocean. They are called tankers. They have huge tankers. They carry over 5 million tons of oil, and they take this crude to big refineries of the world, who will refine it, turn it into petrol, diesel, kerosene, and other products, and ship them back to Uganda to put in our petrol stations so that we can put them in our car and drive around.
Okay. Honorable, if I heard you well, Honorable, are you saying there is no turning back now that we have reached this final investment decision? There is no turning back. Uganda will receive its monies from this natural resource.
It's a commitment, and it is signed by the oil companies. There is no turning back. There is no turning back. The decision has been taken. That's what they call final investment decision. Decision has been made by banks, by oil companies, by their boards of directors, by their managers, by the president of Tanzania to allow us to pass our pipeline in their country, by the president of Uganda, by the parliament of Uganda, which has passed laws, by the ministries, by the people in the local areas in Uganda. A decision has been made by all the parties, by the old woman in Zimbabwe who has allowed to be removed, to leave her graves behind, to leave her house, to leave her banana plantation, be resettled somewhere else, has had literacy, financial literacy. They have opened an account for her. She has agreed all the 10 districts where the pipeline is passing, all these people have all environmentalists, Uganda Wildlife Authority, NEMA, name what, everybody has agreed. There is no turning back. Uganda is going to be an oil-producing country. End of 2025.
Honorable Eri, you hinted on the fact that the world is turning away from use of fossil oils, instead going for renewable energy. Yes, it is a fact, and it is a big concern. What do you think of the market for our oil amidst these concerns?
This concern is just a concern by rich people. Rich people who are enjoying themselves, who have sorted out most of their problems. It is more or less a joke. It is like telling us that oil is going to pollute the atmosphere in Uganda. The pollutant in Uganda is poverty. It is poverty which pollutes the atmosphere. This is poverty which pollutes the atmosphere in Africa. Why? Because in our villages today, people went out to look for firewood. They were cutting trees down. They wanted to go and have firewood in order to cook food for their families, for their children. As a result of cutting down trees, they are turning Uganda into a desert. And because of that, they are polluting our atmosphere and our environment is suffering. But what is wrong if we get our gas and we give this gas to these people in the village and they cook using gas? This is the only way we can save our planet. Jokers in Europe are saying, ruin poverty, cut your trees, don't exploit your oil, remain poor. What type of discussion was this in Scotland? It's a joke. They are the ones who are polluting the atmosphere. We are not. We are contributing in the pollution. They are contributing 96% of the pollution is by them. And now they want to turn their sins on us. God bless them.
Let's look at the participation of the private sector in this oil production project. To what level has the private sector been engaged and allowed to participate in this particular project?
This is the biggest opportunity private sector has had over the years. In fact, probably never before. Since God created this planet and Uganda was created, private sector has never had an opportunity like this. First of all, you know, when President Museveni and his government, NRM, captured power, Uganda had 14 million people. Now, we are like 45 million people, which means 30 million people have been born since President Museveni came to power. 30 million people have been born and are living in Uganda. Now, these 30 million people have never, ever seen an investment of this magnitude. So, the biggest investment was Karuma, which was 1.2 billion. And even then, that Karuma investment, you can go there. You will find that all the shops in Karuma are owned by the Chinese. The milk, the tomatoes, the onions are all coming from China. But this investment of over 10 billion, in fact 20 billion, to be honest, is now ring-fenced for Ugandans. So many sectors are ring-fenced for Ugandans. So many companies are coming here. They are all by law required to work with Ugandan companies. So this is an opportunity that this country has never ever seen before. So much investment. Let me explain it even better. Can you imagine the GDP, the gross domestic product, no, the wealth of Southern Sudan, of Burundi, and Rwanda is not equal to 20 billion. But in one stroke of a pen, President Museveni has struck a deal to bring the wealth of Burundi, Rwanda, and South Sudan in the next 4 years into Uganda, $20 billion. Think about it. It means if all those people now have been squeezed to live in Uganda and bring all their wealth, plus the wealth we already have, this makes Uganda move into the middle income bracket after a short time. But remember that on the 1st of February, on Tuesday of this week, the government signed and handed over the business to private sector. So the government has said bye-bye to the oil industry. No more meetings in Amber House, no more meetings in the State House, no more meetings in the Ministry of Justice or any other ministry or any other authority, except Petroleum Authority will remain to monitor. But the rest is now in the hands of private sector. The people who will dig for the pipe to be buried 2 meters down will be private sector. The people who will produce the pipes will be private sector. The people who will do anything from now on will be private sector. And it's an opportunity for young people, for old people, for local companies, for international companies, for joint venture companies to work together. It's an opportunity of this generation. I am so pleased for this generation. I described it recently as the second most important event after the president and his team of 27 went to Kabamba, and then in 86 they captured power. I think that was an important event. This one is another achievement.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable. But again, let's look at what next after, of course, finalizing that investment decision, investment deal. What should government do next, and what should the population do in the meantime as we wait for the project to take off?
Provide a conducive atmosphere. Make sure that our country is at peace and is friendly and welcoming and takes care of our environment, and make sure that our children go to school and that their mothers don't get worried wherever they are. Make sure that the people of Uganda are a happy people and the governance is good and our corruption goes down. Make sure that that happens. Number two, look at God again and thank Him, because God 2,000 years ago put this oil underground, but next to the oil He put so many precious minerals. You know, in the book of the Revelations in the Bible, chapter 19 verse 21, or is it verse 21 chapter 19? There they mention all the minerals of the world, all the minerals that God made, and they said they are going to surround the city in the Bible, and in that city they described the minerals, and all those minerals which are described in the Bible, God put them underground in Uganda. And even they said at the gates of heaven there will be pearls. And think about it, Uganda is the pearl of Africa. So this is biblical. God put so many minerals underground. Do you know we have almost close to 50 different minerals in Uganda which have not yet been exploited? Did you know that one of the areas, about 2 square miles of land in Busia, has so much gold that if we were to exploit all of it, that 2 square miles of land, the money would be more than we are going to get from oil. And yet, We have so many precious minerals. We have gold in Kigezi, in Buweju, in Mubende, in Busia, in Namayango, in Bujiri, in Eastern region, in Karamoja, in northeastern Uganda. We have platinum, we have chromite in Nachikororo, in Karamoja, we have iron ore, 400 million tons. Can you imagine? 400 million tons of reserves of iron ore, hematite, what they call hematite, in southwestern Uganda, in Kigezi. And in Kigezi alone, we have 1 billion tons. Oh, my friend, do you know that we have got phosphates and rare earth elements, what they call rare earth elements? The second biggest rare earth minerals outside of China have been settled in.
Honorable, indeed, Uganda is blessed. Uganda is blessed, and we are also blessed to have you this evening. Honorable Erika Karuhanga, thank you so much for your time. Resourceful gentleman there, and he's also a participant and a key player in Uganda's mining and petroleum operation. Thank you so much for your time, and the Limelight will be coming next Friday. We wish you well, and we say good evening and a splendid weekend.